Hello everyone, so sorry for this background noise as it will come, I can't stop it. But somehow today we'll be discussing about this FERRET-UI research paper that has been issued by Apple. So FERRET-UI is something related to how it is using your user interface or the mobile phone screens to train some models so that they can get a good idea of the user behavior. So I have already researched it like on this. I have already read this whole research paper and also used ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is not able to tell me so much in detail because it is also like so for the past month it has been this trained. It is not so much recent, but let's start with this FERRET-UI research paper. So these are things like some of the people who are involved in this paper. Abstract recent advancements in multimodal large language models have been noteworthy. Like the general domains may fall short in their ability to complement and interact effectively with the user interface screens. Like you, there are a lot of MLLMs, but they may not understand how the user interactions are occurring relative to the screens, and they are not so much connected to the screens right now. So in this paper we present Ferret UI, a new MLLM tailored for enhanced understanding of mobile UI screens, equipped with referring, grounding, and reasoning capabilities. So these are some keywords. So let's look at it, what these actually means. So I asked this to ChatGPT that what this means. So see, it doesn't give a good description here, but I again asked in a separate context. So they told like grounding in the context of natural language processing and computer vision refers to the process of connecting the language to the real world or the specific context. It involves linking words or phrases in a context to entities or concepts in the environment or in a knowledge base. Like there's some screens or UI screen, how the model is understanding how what is actually happening on the screen and giving it some context or textual representation of what is actually happening and how the different parts of a screen are interconnected. This is something like grounding actually means. Now see, referring is the context of NLP, refers to act of using language to identify and describe the specific objects in a given context. It involves referring to something that has been previously mentioned or is known to both the speaker. For example, please pass me the book. The book is a referring expression that identifies a specific object and to both speaker and the listener. Referring expressions like they can be more complex, so it is something like how it is understanding and finding the right kind of objects or understanding your language, what they should do. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, it means something like that only. Now let's get back to this research paper. So, given that UI screens typically exhibit a more elongated aspect ratio and contain smaller objects, elongated aspect ratio, I hope you understand aspect ratio, like what is a UI screen size, which to length or length to width. So it is something like that and contain smaller. See, each and every UI screen also contains a lot of objects in it. So it has icons, text. So the we incorporate any resolution on top of it to magnify the details and leverage enhanced visual features. See, we already have models that can understand natural images, but natural images doesn't contain a lot of smaller objects, and they have a less amount of context behind them. But if you look at UI screens, it has a lot of difference in aspect ratio and also a lot of smaller objects of interest that we may be interested in. So this UI screens or this MLLM model that's referred to UI, it has any resolution that is NRS on top of Ferret to magnify the details, so they can magnify the different visual features in an UI screen. Specifically, each screen is divided into two images based on original aspect ratio, horizontal division for. So basically it means that if you look at your mobile, so it has something loud like this uh, vertical rectangle. It has a less width and great height, so it is not in the right ratio. So if there's a portrait image, they will just divide it by half horizontally. So in that case we will get two similar size images. And if it is a landscape, like length is greater than height, so that then they will divide it by vertically, so they can have two same sized images, both sub images. So these two images that are created are these are sub images, are encoded separately before being sent to LLM. We meticulously gather training samples from extensive range of elementary UI tasks such as icon recognition, find text, and widgets listing. These samples are formatted for instruction following with region annotations. Annotations mean like whatever regions. See, if you have a clock widget or a calendar widget or any icon or something text, so these annotations actually understand what is happening in that area, or what it is kind of a labeling of that area. So if our area has text, so it you will write it at or label at text or submit button, then label it as submit button. So these are annotations to facilitate precise reference and grounding. To augment the model's reasoning ability, we further compile a dataset for advanced tasks, including details in description, perception, interaction, conversations, and function difference. So these will be like included further in this video. We'll talk about this. After training on the curated dataset, FERRET-UI exhibits understanding, comprehension of UI scores, and the capability to execute open-ended instructions. This I have just asked ChatGPT about this. Formatted for instruction following with region annotation to facilitate of precise referring and grounding. See, region annotations meaning refers to the process of marking or labeling specific regions within an image or visual scene. This annotation is simply done to provide additional information about the context of the image. This is identifying the objects, highlighting areas of interest, or making regions. See, region annotations involves identifying and labeling specific regions within an image that are relevant to the given instructions. Then I don't know so much, so I just again refer to the annotate meaning. What is the meaning of annotate? So there's a term open-ended instructions. So what does that mean? That are not specific or detailed and allow for a wide range of possible interactions. So open-ended instructions are some of the instructions which don't have so much of detail in them. So the UI interface must understand what is the context behind them, or what are it doesn't contain the particularities of a given instruction to any user interface to do a particular task. Now let's look at this line. This process of perception and interaction, these two are very important terms. The process of perception involves how we perceive the world around us and how we interact with it. Like perceive is something like sensing how you are sensing the things. You are getting heat on your skin, so that is perception. Or you are looking at something, that is perception. But how you are interacting, if you are removing your hand from a very heated object, that is interaction. Or if you are looking at some danger, then you are just taking a gun or taking a like your hand to defend yourself, that is interaction. So this is something like that. Perceptions involve understanding the sensory inputs received by the machine, which could be visual inputs, like in context of UI. So if someone types something or if someone says something, then that is a perception. But how the underlying user interface or the model actually works, or what kind of output it gives, that is interaction. So let's go to the paper again. So this is something interesting, I think so. We'll learn about all these things very quickly. Exists not only beyond most open UI LLM but also surpasses GPT. So this is something very interesting because each and every model in the ML industry, it needs to be evaluated. Yeah, so when this FERRET-UI creators evaluated this model, so they got that FERRET-UI works better than other or most of the open source UI MLMs. That is GPT-4V also is LLM. That is a. Now let's go to the introduction part. Mobile applications have become an important part of daily life, serving as a tools for individuals to achieve personal goals, including searching for information, making reservations, and seeking entertainment. See, this is a very relatable line, I think so, because these things we all do, like daily work. I think without mobile phone, it is impossible. I think so right now. In this stage, we inspect the current screen visually and perform the desired actions based on our goals. Like inspect means we look at the screen and just understand, right, after this tapping this button, then this will happen and my goals will be like satisfied and my work will be done. But automating this process of perception interaction has the potential to help users achieve their goals with relative ease. See, technology is all about ease. I just very like this is very straight line. I think so because new invention is already has been done, but still the whenever ease is there now, technology develops a lot. So this is all about automation. Moreover, it is also a valuable building block for accessibility, multi-step UI navigation, app testing, and usability studies, and many more. Let's leave this line. To facilitate seamless automation of perception and interaction within user interface of sophisticated system endowed with a set of key capabilities. This means that because for the automation of this perception and interaction, this sophisticated system is required and it is actually essential. Such a system must possess the ability not only to comprehend the entirety of a screen but also to concentrate on specific UI elements within that screen. With visual understanding as the foundation, it should further be able to map natural language instructions to corresponding actions within a given UI, execute advanced reasoning, and provide exhaustive details concerning the screens it interacts with. So this whole line means that the UI screen or whatever application we are making, it should be able to understand the natural language instructions that we are giving. These requirements necessitate the development of a vision language model adapted both referring and grounding in relation to UI screens. Hence, referring requires the system to utilize particular regional image information to the screen input, while grounding involves the model's capacity to identify and denote the precise locations on the screen in its output. So, like referring is something that you have a particular image and you are finding a particular regional image information. So, you're looking particular regions of an image that is input image, while grounding knows the model's capacity to identify and denote the precise locations. Denote means they are identifying the locations. Referring means I think so because we are using a particular location but they are not identifying. And grounding is identifying and annotating that particular region of the image. So existing approaches are insufficient in fully addressing these key capabilities. Whatever the existing approaches are there, so they are inefficient. So on one hand, while MLLMs like Ferret, Shikra, and Cosmos, I don't know about these things. I have not researched much about on these. Demonstrate strong referring and grounding capabilities. Their scope is mainly restricted to natural images. Okay, so as far as I see, these models can be used for images, but they are okay with natural images, but not with UI screens images. Directly adapting these models to UI screens can limiting, since UI screens typically exhibit more elongated aspect ratio. So this is again is line is regarding the difference between a natural image and a UI screen image. So natural image can have a bigger objects and relationship between them, but UI screens have a different kind of size also, and they have a different smaller, big, very small objects of interest. Relying solely on direct resize low resolution global image could lead to loss of important visual signals that are essential for screen understanding and interaction. So what is happening that if we don't use a good aspect ratio and any resolution kind of great configuration, then it is possible that we will not be able to use properly the smaller objects that are important in our images. So this line is about it. On the other hand, other works targeting directly at UI tasks are primarily focused on processing entire screens as singular objects. So till now, there have already some UI tasks already have been done in the industry. It is not that FERRET-UI is the first model using UI screens, but the other models that have already used UI, they have used the UI like screens with only as a single image only. They have not divided it into 1:2 or 2:1, and all those things have not been done. So these are some of the models that I've done on UI. The tasks and these do not comprehensively cover all dimensions of UI screen understanding. So yeah, here I am just stopping this video because the video will be large and I'll be having a problem to upload it. But we'll see the some of the parts in the next video. Yeah, so the part 2 will be coming soon.